All right, it's Charson here. We're going to be showcasing every limited unit in Spongebob Tower Defense and ranking them all one by one. As you can see, I've collected every single limited unit in the game, all the way to the max. Other than the Invincibubble that's at 2-star and the Olympian that's at 2-star, those are two that are really hard to 5-star or time consuming. The Olympian 6.2k exists because of the glitch back in the day, and everyone wants to value them at too much. And the Invincibubble, you either have to hit 500 index and trade it to a bunch of alts, or these are worth about 1 to 2 million and are super costly to 5-star ones. So we're going to try it at 2-star. To be honest, it beats out most of the units even at 2-star. So no need to really 5-star it. That would be overkill. So I've decided that I'm going to do the units based on when they came out to my knowledge. I might make a few mistakes, but I'm pretty sure I can go in order here. And we're going to start with Soaring Starfish. This was the first limited unit in the game on Valentine's Day. It was a limited time event. I would call it a true limited because there are some limited units that you can still get to this day, which in my opinion means they're not really limited, but all that matters is what it says, which says limited. We're going to start with the Soaring and see how far it goes. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we're only going to be using limited pets. I would do the best ones, but I think the Mr. Stinky 5-star and Camp Karen are a little bit cooler. We're going to go with Rocky because it is the best limited. Technically, I should be doing Gary, Rocky, and Camp Karen and get rid of Mr. Stinky, but come on. This is like a 1 of 2 pet. Nobody has this, and I'm really excited to use it in game today. All right, to be fair, we're going to do every single unit on the same exact level. We're going to do Bubble Bass tier 5 because on anything like Karen or Sea Lion, there's going to be a few units where I'm just sitting there waiting for the 5-minute timer to go down and see how much time it does. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're going to go ahead and do one we can actually be with every single unit. Like I said, we're going to start with Soaring Starfish, see how well it does. I'll come back to you guys when we finish. We just finished with the Soaring Starfish. It finished the boss battle in 3 minutes and 11 seconds. I'm pretty sure it is one of the worst limiteds in the game. I think as we'll see, every update, they started making the units better, so the original ones are not going to be that good. We're going to move on to the next limited unit. I'm not too sure what unit is next off the top of my head, but I know when I take a look at it, I'll try to remember which one came right after the Soaring Starfish event. All right, so I'm back looking at all the limited units. I think it would technically be between the Olympian Spongebob and the Easter Bunny. I don't really remember whether leaderboards or the Easter event came first. I'm pretty sure it was leaderboards being added, which means Olympian would technically be the next limited that they added. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one next. We're getting rid of Soaring. And I know he's not 5-star. He is technically at a disadvantage, but I still think he's going to outperform Soaring based on his stats at least a little bit. And back in the day, when this unit first came out, it was actually the meta starter unit. If you've never seen Blockbuster's 5-star video, I think he was the first one to ever do it. But yeah, definitely go check Blockbuster's old video on that. It was a super cool video. So same thing here. We're going to go back into Bubble Bass 5, see how the Olympian does. I'm going to skip right to the results so you guys can save time and we can get through all these units here. All right, Olympian just finished up with 1:43 playtime. I think that's either almost the exact same. If I'm not mistaken, I will pop up on the screen after I edit this. From now on, I'm going to take a screenshot of every single boss battle so I can actually keep tally before I start to edit this video, so we can really have an accurate best endless limited loadout in Spongebob Tower Defense. Next up for the limited units is definitely going to be the Easter Bunny. I'm 90% sure that was the one right after or during the Olympian whole leaderboard thing. We're going to go right into boss battle again, see what we get, add it to the tier list. So far, these limited units aren't anything crazy, but I'm telling you, as each update goes on, the units just kept getting better. There are some heavy hitter limiteds at the end of this video. Make sure you tune in and keep watching. All right, with the Easter Bunny, we're finally seeing some playtime being cut off. 1:17 is definitely the best time so far, by about 15 seconds better than the Olympian at least. Like I said, I kind of forget what the Soaring was. It was definitely around the Olympian. The Easter Bunny is much better so far, and I'm pretty sure it's only going to get better every unit. So the next unit we're going to be showing off is Agent Patrick, one of my first favorite limited units I ever started collecting. There's something about the limiteds that can't be shiny Wumbo getting 5-star that I absolutely love. This was also the first unit that was like a quest line for it. We had never really had anything like that before. The Soaring you got from crates, the Olympian you got from getting on leaderboards, the Easter Bunny you got from like an egg crate looking thing. Finally, this is the first one where you had to go do specific quests to unlock this guy. 69.9 thousand exists, and we're going to put him in boss battles and see just how good he does. Based on the stats, it already looks like it's going to do a lot better than any of the limiteds we've shown. Like I said, I'm hoping to show that with each update, every single limited did get better, if not every unit they continuously added. Every time it's always getting better. Let's see how Agent Patrick does. It looks like Agent Patrick was the first one to beat boss battles in under a minute. So far, the best limited we've done, and let's move on right to the next one. All right, we are on to Sea Lion, or Lionfish, which came out when boss battles came out. The only way that you could get this was from a drop chance out of boss battles on the Lionfish difficulty. The hardest part about making this video, believe it or not, was actually leveling up this guy. He's the only limited in the entire game that levels the same as a secret does, and he's not even close to the best one. Definitely not worth your food. Do not do what I did. I would never suggest leveling up the Lionfish. When it first released, it did replace any meta starter, but then it was immediately overshadowed by other units that were added right after. Nowadays, you don't even need a starter in the meta loadout, which is absolutely crazy. Back in the day, the best meta starter was literally a Sea Rhino, which nowadays you don't see anybody trading for using anything like that. It's just crazy how much this game has changed. And honestly, looking back at all these limited units, I can just remember all the updates. It's almost nostalgic. But let's go ahead and move on and see how the Lionfish does. So I'll go ahead and showcase it because honestly, I think it's something that isn't really prominent in the game. Nobody really cares about it. The Lionfish does have a burn effect. So does Dennis. There's a few units like with Poison, Slowness, Fire. The only one that anyone really cares about is Slowness. I wish that they would make the abilities something people actually went after, but unfortunately there's nothing more useful than Slow, and there's nothing that changes a unit in the meta loadout just because it has a certain effect on it. Hopefully they end up adding something that makes that the case. Unfortunately, I think it gets even more overshadowed when exotics have the abilities that they do. Who cares about burn, poison, slowness, anything like that? So as you can see though, we did just finish Lionfish with 52 seconds. That is actually worse than Agent Patrick by 2 seconds, which beat it in 50. I'm surprised because the Lionfish, based on the stats, actually did have more damage than Agent Patrick. But it's all down to the SBA and how the actual animation is per unit, so the stats can be a lie, to be honest. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next unit we're going to be showcasing is Bemmy Buddy, obviously based on the YouTuber Bemmy. Bemmy Blocks, if you haven't watched him before. I don't think he's really made videos on this game ever since this unit came out. But he did for a good while, and because of that, they went ahead and gave him a unit. Let's go ahead and test him out. Honestly, his stats are pretty abysmal compared to the other ones, but we'll still go ahead, put him in boss battle, see how he does. All right, so they definitely did Bemmy real dirty with this unit. The worst time by far, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Oh my gosh, that is like actually horrible. I feel horrible. Bemmy does not belong in the limited loadout at the end of this video. I don't even have to think twice. I'm not even going to bother screenshotting. I do not think there's going to be a worse limited than Bemmy Buddy, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and move on. The next unit we're going to be showcasing is the Moth, all the way 5-star Neptune Crown level 100. I've only maybe seen one other person have a unit like this. It came out in the same way the Secret Agent Star did, had a quest line, had to do a few things. It was really overshadowed by, I believe, the crafting update and stuff like that. A lot of people weren't really going for this. There's only 4.5 thousand. Cannot get them anymore. A true limited unit. But let's see how it does in boss battles. 42,000 damage is, I'm pretty sure, the highest damage we've seen from a limited so far in this video. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best, just like how the Lionfish had the best damage, but was not actually better than Agent Patrick. Let's go ahead and find out how well the Moth does. So we have a new best limited. So far, it is going to be the Moth at 49 seconds, 1 second better than the Agent Patrick. Not too much better, but still better nonetheless. He is technically the best one for my lineup so far for the endless that's going to be at the end of this video. Like I said, at this point, we're about halfway through the limited units. Go ahead and stay tuned to see how far the best limited loadout can go in endless. So the next limited unit is going to be from crafting. It is the Breakfast Monster. I'm pretty sure 33,000 is lower than the Moth. Yeah, the Moth had 42,900. Doesn't necessarily mean anything though. Breakfast Monster and Cuddly Hugs technically came out, I believe, at the exact same update. I could be mistaken, but we're going to go ahead and do Breakfast first. Cuddly Hugs is technically a pay-to-win unit only. I want to go ahead and showcase the one that anybody can make. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase the Breakfast Monster first. Breakfast Monster just finished up beating Bubble Bass 5 at 1 minute and 28 seconds. That puts it around better than Soaring and the Olympian, but a little bit worse than the Easter Bunny. Definitely worse than the Sea Lion, the Agent Patrick, and the Moth. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Like I said, they came out the same time. We're going to do Cuddly Hugs next. That was another one of my favorites. Technically, you could either 5-star this by claiming 25 crew pass 12 months and make a 5-star bunker with it. Obviously, I was not lucky enough to do that, but we are going to go ahead, equip the Cuddly Hugs, and go straight into the next boss battle. I know you guys want to see the best limited loadout in Spongebob Tower Defense, and that's what I'm here to show you. Unfortunately, this fat hamster is the second worst limited in Spongebob Tower Defense, at least so far. The only thing worse than it was Bemmy Buddy, and that guy had a whole 2 minute and like 50 or 36 second run. This one is not much better. Definitely worse than Soaring. Definitely worse than Olympian. Worse than anything else we've shown other than Bemmy Buddy at 1 minute 53. I feel bad for the chunky hamster, man. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next unit. So Fishnet Patrick is going to be the first major jump in damage, almost pushing 60,000. Also is an AoE unit. Not really good in boss battles, but is very good in a normal story mode or endless loadout. Was the first limited to be added to the battle pass. It used to just be mythics, and those would technically be limited, but they were a mythic rarity. They finally changed that. They made the actual battle pass unit a limited unit. First one being Fishnet Patrick. Was definitely better than almost any battle pass unit, if not the best before it. The only one that might be better is Goofy Goober, but its SPA is really low. We're gonna go right into boss battles with this Fishnet Patrick and see how well it does. All right, so Fishnet Patrick is gonna be the best unit so far from limiteds in Spongebob Tower Defense at a clean 42 seconds, beats the Moth at 49 seconds. So far, best one. So far has to be on the best limited loadout. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so the next limited units both came in at the same time. It just depended on what team you decided to choose. Obviously, the losers were the Patricks. Come on, SpongeBob absolutely cleared them. But technically, Big Buff Patrick does 5 more damage, I believe. Actually, no, 15 more damage than Dueling Spongebob. Will that actually show up in the boss battle times? I guess we'll find out. We'll start with Dueling, technically, because it's worse. I don't actually believe that, but we're going to start with Dueling and see how well it does in boss battles. Also, another huge jump in damage from, I think, Fishnet was, let's see, 57,000. We're up to 87,000 now. Definitely better. Let's go ahead and see how it does. I'm predicting it's going to be the best one so far, but you never know. Let's find out. And again, we have a new best limited. You're going to catch me saying that a lot because, like I said at the beginning of the video, the units only get better each update. Dueling finishing at 35 seconds. I'm really hoping, just for it to be funny, that the Patrick beats it in 34. It probably won't, but we will find out right here, right now. Let's go ahead and move straight to the Patrick. I'm not even going to go equip it. You guys know it's the next one. I'm going to skip straight to the playtime. Oh my god, I can't believe it. The Big Buff Patrick is not even just 1 second better. It's a whole 5 seconds better, even though there's only a 15 damage difference. That's how much the animations on these units make a difference when they attack. It may seem like they have the same amount of damage, the same amount of SPA, but that does not necessarily mean one unit is the same as the other. Big Buff Patrick is a lot better by a whole 5 seconds. Big Buff is technically better. Do not use the dueling. If you were Team Patrick, you might have lost the battle, but you won the war. You got the better unit. And that's really all that matters. But we're going to go ahead and go into the next unit. I'm actually going to showcase it because I want to show you when they actually came out, what update they came out with, how you got them. The Big Buff and the Dueling happened to come out in the same update and you got them the same way. It just depended on what team you picked. So we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, so the next limited unit, probably the best we're going to see in the entire video. I don't even need to showcase it to tell you it's on the best limited loadout. If not, honestly, on some of the best loadouts in the game. The damage is great, the SPA is great, the range is great. The only thing that is a little bit lackluster is the fact that it's a Pierce unit, but by far the best limited unit in the game. I already know it's going to have the best time. Let's get straight into it. The team is really based on the 5 ones that are worse than this because this one is just by far the best limited in the game. Gonna skip straight to how fast it beats this boss battle. All right, so like I said, didn't even really need to test it, but the Invincibubble absolutely blew any limited out of the water and is definitely better than any other limited I'm going to show for the rest of the video. Guaranteed to be on the best loadout. 9 seconds is absolutely insane. Definitely the best limited unit in the game for boss battles or endless. You can get it by just getting 500 on your index, which seems hard, but now with how many units are in the game, it's honestly a lot easier. You don't even really need the shiny wumbo secrets or exotics to get 500. They've added so many units in this game, and you can definitely just go around and ask people to index. They'll help you out. I've had plenty of help myself. But yeah, definitely go ahead and get yourself an Invincibubble if you haven't already. It is the best limited in the game by far. I don't even know if they'll ever release something that's better than Invincibubble. And because we already know what the best limited is going to be in the entire loadout, we're really just trying to find out the rest of them and which ones are going to really go with our Invincibubble. I'm going to really speed through these and just show you the end times of the rest of the limiteds, and I'll explain where you got them when I show the time. So the next unit that actually came out with Invincibubble, it was the Gorilla Man. These came out when they added the achievements to get a shiny wumbo PD, a shiny wumbo 5-star Nosferatu, and a shiny wumbo Gorilla. You got it from sitting in the AFK and collecting like I think 1,000 chests to get the shiny wumbo. Throughout that, you will randomly get gorillas just for being in the AFK. It was a little bit hard to 5-star this unit, not too hard, just had to find people that love to sit in the AFK room, and I finished it out. We're going to move on straight to the next unit. 48 seconds, not anything special. About the same as the Moth. I think 1 second better if I'm not mistaken. We're going to go ahead and move straight to the next unit. See you on the next one. All right, I believe we have our number 2 spot for the limited units. This one beat it in 18 seconds. Patricia was from a little bit of what I call a placeholder update. All you really had to do was play the game, and every like 10-15 minutes they gave you a crate. You had the chance to get a Patricia. Not the most fun to get unit, nothing special about it other than the fact it is clearly the second best limited in the game. This update was really not special, unfortunately, but the unit it got from it was pretty good, so I guess no complaints there. Honestly, if you played that event at all, you definitely have a shiny wumbo 5-star Neptune Crown one. It was super easy to get. Almost anyone has it. We're going to go ahead and move on to the final unit, and I will see you guys back when that one beats the boss battle, and then we are moving on to the best limited endless loadout in Spongebob Tower Defense, and we are going to go absolutely crazy. We just finished with Rusty Ricketts, the final limited unit we're going to go over before we make this endless loadout. It did beat it in 39 seconds. I'm pretty sure that makes the loadout. There's a lot of them that are between like 30 to 40 seconds. I'm going to go through this whole video, see which ones were the absolute best, and going to put it on an endless loadout. I believe he makes it. This unit you get from the premium battle pass this season, and we're going to move right on to making this endless loadout right here, right now. I'll be right back when I get the loadout ready. So as you can see, I've got the best limited loadout here. These are all the limiteds that had the best boss battle times throughout the video. All in order, it goes Invincibubble, Patricia, Big Buff Patrick, Dueling Spongebob, Fishnet Patrick, and Gorilla Man. We're gonna go straight into Conch Endless A and go ahead and see how far these units can go. My predictions, I'm going for at least wave 600. Let's find out though. I know I'm going to leak a little bit at the start because I'm not going to use any money units, any money farms like that. We're going to run it on 7x, and I am going to leak. I don't know how much I'm going to leak, but the cheapest thing we can place is 2,250. It's going to be rough. We're definitely going to leak a lot, but hopefully we can make up for it towards the long run. I can't even start placing yet. Oh my God. We're going to be down to 60 health, 40 health. Ooh, 40 is really rough to start, but we're going to go ahead and go through it. We cannot use anything other than a limited unit, so we had to go ahead and leak. I'll come back when I have everything placed and we're just sitting here and waiting. All right, so we just got enough to finally finish maxing out every unit that's on the board. I placed them all, I maxed them all out. Let's do a quick showcase of what they do maxed out in game. We'll start with the Gorilla, the worst one, at 136,000 damage, 0.8 SPA, 100 range. Does get full map coverage, and then the next worst one would technically be Fishnet Patrick, almost full map coverage. I'm sure if you had it in the right spots, I just ran out of room, it would be full map coverage. 100,000 damage, 1 SPA, 68.8 range. I actually think that's technically worse, but it had a better boss battle time. Like I said, doesn't always mean it's better in endless or not, but this is the units that have the best boss battle times out of the limiteds. Let's move on to the next one. Dueling maxes out at 150k. Buff Patrick 151,000. Patricia at 194,000. And Invincibubble at 300,000. I know he's power pattied, but he's not even 5-star, so technically he can be even better in game. I'm going to cut back to when we start to struggle a little bit. So far, I've had no issues. My prediction was wave 600. I ended up maxing out everything about wave 350. and we're just going to go ahead and sit here and see what happens. All right, so we are about to hit, but I guess we would end at, or at least get to, which is wave 600. This is the farthest anything has gotten so far. So it's probably going to hit wave 700. It could even hit wave 750. Honestly, the limiteds are doing a really good job. Keep in mind, Invincibubble's not maxed. I'm technically not using the best pets. I'm just using the best limited pets. Obviously, if you had extra placements with the Potty the Parrot and had a shiny Wumbo Fluffy, I might not have even leaked as much since I had more gold. Honestly, the limited team is doing an amazing job. I'm super hyped. I can't believe it's getting this far. Completely blew my guess out of the water at wave 600. So let's just see where it ends up. All right, this bubble got pretty far last time. Let's see how far it gets this time on wave 673. I think any leaks and I will die because I'm already at 40. All right, so the last one stopped right here. I'd say we don't have much farther to go, but they've absolutely crushed it. Let's see if they can at least hit wave 700. All right, we have another dirty bubble coming out. Even these anchovies are getting super far, making me uncomfortable. Oh, I do not know if we're gonna beat, oh, I think we're gonna beat it, but barely. Maybe not. Oh my God, we have 5 health. 5 health. The next time a dirty bubble comes out, we are definitely gonna lose, as long as it has like 50 million. Sometimes the small dirty bubbles come out that aren't as much, but we are definitely losing on the next time one comes out. We could definitely beat the small ones like this guy that have 25 mil, but the next bubble after this is gonna have even more, and then we're just absolutely done for. Let it be at least wave 700 though. Let it at least be wave 700. See, this is 32 mil. I think we low-key got that. We definitely can beat this 32 mil one. Boom, done. Wave 700, the limiteds did it. It's definitely not getting much farther than this, but they absolutely crushed it. The best limiteds can get you all the way to wave 700 in Spongebob Tower Defense. Do not sleep on the limited units. If I had a 5-star Invincibubble, maybe I could have even gotten farther, but it seems like we're going to lose right here on wave 701. 101 waves past where I guessed originally. 4.49 billion damage. That was an absolutely crazy run. Thank you guys for sticking with me and seeing the absolute best limited loadout in Spongebob Tower Defense. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. So those were the absolute best limiteds in Spongebob Tower Defense. That was absolutely crazy. I can't believe it got to wave 700 just with limiteds. I can only imagine the limiteds are going to get even better than the ones that are in the game now, but probably not better than this guy. He was the absolute carry. 9-second boss battle time. Definitely did the most damage in Endless. I have plenty of things to show off for you guys. Let me know what kind of collection you want to see next. I've been working on getting all the Neptune crowns. I can showcase whatever you guys want. I almost have every unit. Definitely still working on a few. Some that aren't in my inventory currently because they're on my haul for boss battles. Got a level 100 this Fluffy. Plenty of projects to come. Let me know what you guys want to see. It was Charson. Thanks guys for watching.